but yet you're more focused on the culture and the democratic culture, and we are the ones who practice the democracy, because after all, democracy is made up of the people. I take a look at, in talking about democratic culture now, I take a look at some of the results from the states where local government elections have taken place so far, and I'm hardly amazed. You and I in the past, we've talked about sometimes you tell me that, look, the makers and crafters of our democracy foresaw a nation of good people. Nigerians generally will be massively good, and so in crafting the constitutions, they did that optimistic of our nature and our values, that yes, Nigerians will not be corrupt, Nigerians will be people with good values, and so that's why they crafted the constitution somehow. But I look at some of these results and emanating from these states. Like I said, it's not amazing at all. It doesn't surprise me, and I'm sure most Nigerians are not surprised as well. Maybe except for the miracle which took place with the APP in Rivers State. Yet again, we don't have to dig deep to understand what happened there. With all of these results that we see and, the obvious trend, is it enough to shout victory and hail democracy, and democratic culture when the system is being seemingly hijacked? What we now see is a situation where opposition parties boycott council polls to indicate their level of frustration. Isn't that in itself, killing our democracy?
Well, I think, I like to say that people get the kind of leadership or the kind of structure that they deserve.
I agree with you there.
Depending on your level of sophistication, you will get a system that suits you. If you're very sophisticated and very intelligent and very educated, cultured, you're going to get a cultured system, because you make the system work for you, not you work for the system. Obviously, we are working for a system because we are not cultured, we're not educated. Democracy needs some sort of sophistication for it to work, some sort of knowledge level for it to work. An electorate that does not partake in elections will leave space for things like this to happen. For instance, you have an election where less than 5% of the electorate take part in elections. What do you expect? We run a kind of democracy where it's first through the door. I don't know how they're explaining it, where you can win by just one vote. It means that if just one person comes out to vote on election day, whoever that person votes for wins the election. So it means that we, who are the citizens, who are the electorate, need to get up and begin to say, we need to take part in elections. And I want to suggest that any of our palliatives that we bring in to fore, we need to attach that palliative to elections. Have you voted? Did you vote in the last election? If you can prove it, we give you the palliative. It means that if you do that, everybody will now know that voting is something that they need to do because they're going to gain something from it. It's not vote buying. It means that for you to gain something from government, you must show that you have voted. But you don't want to know who you voted for.
It may not be vote buying, but you're now forcing people to vote. Voting by compulsion.
We want them.
Doesn't that negate the very principle of democracy, which the free will, the right to exercise free will to participate or not participate in a vote?
No, participation is not free will. Because at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, you will blame somebody for it. You need to participate.
That's when you don't have the right. That is when now you don't have the right to blame because you did not participate in the first place. You now don't have the right to criticize or to blame. But you can't force me to be part of something I do not want to be.
But again, you look at it this way. If you don't participate, it means that you are indirectly giving the power to somebody else whose choice may not be what is good for us. Now, this is where the problem is. It's now a moral question. It's no longer a legal question. And that's why I'm saying it is on the people's morality and how they see themselves that democracy will work for you. If you have a democracy of the fire brigade and the garrison kind of democracy, where everybody takes order from one person, democratic system will allow you to do that because it's about numbers. But if you are a cultured people, and that is why I say, let us practice the local government administration for some time and get to a point where we have a generation that understands this. Do we need a legal system for it? yes, we still need to tinker with our legal frameworks. The fact that we have 3 tiers of government, yet we have 2 federating units, is an anomaly.